Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm acrylic artist Joni Young, and today I'm showing you step by step how to paint Dancing in the Garden. Full of butterflies and cherry blossoms. We're going to work on an 11 by 14 double primed stretched canvas. I'll list all the colors and the brushes below in the description box that we're using today. We'll begin with titanium white on the top left part of the canvas. We'll have turquoise and phthalo blue. We'll use a large flat brush like this. I'm going to get it wet first and scoop up both colors. Going to blend them all around the bottom of the canvas, and you can do this any way you like. It doesn't really matter. We just want the bottom part to be a little bit darker than the top of the canvas. So we'll do this and work our way up into that white. Use water if you need to. We just want it to look really soft and create this blurry, soft background in order for our butterflies to look like they're more in the foreground. And same with the flowers. I'm now switching over to a mop brush. It's dry, and I'm just going to dust little tiny circles all around to make it extra soft and fuzzy looking. Then I'm going to pick up some turquoise and then a little bit of water if I need to help blend everything together. So I just picked up a little bit of water on the very tip of my brush. And I'm going to continue to very softly blend this around. Okay, we're ready for brown. Using a filbert brush, you can use any brown color that you want, any shade of brown. And we're going to come in on the top right and wiggle a little bit and pull in some little branches for our cherry blossoms. I'll gradually start adding some of my neon pink. Now, if you don't have neon pink, you can use any pink that you have, or even red. Let's add another branch coming around down here on the bottom. Pick up some white, a little bit of that pink with the brown still in my brush, and we'll add a little bit of highlight here. This will make your branch stand out a little bit more. Try to keep it on one side of the branch so you have a shadow on one side and a highlight on the other. Now I'm going to pull in some white with my turquoise using a clean filbert brush and begin the wings for this butterfly. I wanted to zoom in on this so you guys can see a lot better how I'm creating this freehand, and to show you that you can do this too. You don't need to draw it out first. You don't need to trace anything. You can easily do this. So it's just a thin layer of white with a bit of turquoise in there. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of brown and my pink and add it to the little body here, which is just a little line, slightly thicker for where the head is at the top of the butterfly. Then we'll pull right around the edge here, make a nice outline. I've got Cobalt blue for the color in this butterfly, and it'll be the nice dark shadow around all the butterfly's wings. Now if you don't have Cobalt blue, you can use royal blue or ultramarine blue. Another color that would look nice is purple. Dioxazine purple would look really pretty. Okay, now I'm taking neon pink with my cobalt blue, slightly blend the two together. I've got a liner brush. I'm resting my pinky on the canvas in a dry area just to steady my hand when I need to. So I don't have a picture to go by for this. I'm just making these butterflies and flowers up as I go along. And it's a lot more fun that way, I find, just to create your own type of butterfly and flowers. So I'm going to do a few little lines here for some details and some shadows, and then work up to more color and more detail on the wings. We'll be adding some little white dots later on, and a little bit of turquoise inside of the wing mixed with the white. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to my cherry blossoms and take neon pink, white with a filbert brush, little taps, turning my brush, tap, tap, tap. The filbert brush makes perfect little flower petals. So you can pick up more white at times and more pink at times, and some of them can just be straight white if you want. You can make them all different sizes. If you push a little bit harder down flat with your brush, that will make larger petals. You can also use a few different size filbert brushes to make different size flowers. Sometimes I'll just add one little petal, and that will be a little bud for our cherry blossoms, and we'll add little bits of green and brown on the bottom of it, like it's just blossoming or budding right off the end of the branch. You can scumble around a little bit of the paint, that light pink that's left over in your brush, to make it look like there's a bunch of flowers kind of behind there in the distance and they're blurry and out of focus. I'm just going to continue to build up all of these flowers. You can add as many as you like or as few. It's all up to you. I'm going to add little dots and dabs inside some of these flowers in the center of them. I'll use combination of different colors, sometimes blue, sometimes brown, pink, and later on some green and some yellow. Now I'm going to also add some different colors to the branches, like turquoise. I'm going to switch over to my mini fan brush now, take white and ultramarine blue, blend the two together, and begin another butterfly. Now I just wanted to show you how you can paint a butterfly with a different brush, such as this fan brush, so it gives you really nice flow and you can wiggle around and easily get a nice little flower petal or a butterfly wing. So the fan brush is really good for lots of different things. So I'll add a few different butterflies. At first I was just going to do one, and then I decided I wanted to have a whole little group of butterflies all fluttering around in these pretty flower blossoms. So I'm just going to paint the basic shape of these butterfly wings, and then I'll come in with the blue around each of the wings. I'll create a little line in the middle for their bodies, and we'll go from there and add all those little dots that really help bring these butterflies to life and give them that really pretty detail. So after adding some more blue around the butterfly wings, I'm going to come in here with more cherry blossom flowers, let those butterflies dry a little bit before I add some more details to them, and really build up these blossoms in the background and the foreground. It's really fun painting these little flowers this way, and so easy with a filbert brush. I used to be afraid of painting flowers, but it's all about finding the right brush. Let the brush do the work for you. These are just simple little tips and tricks for you guys. No matter what level you are with painting, all of you guys are capable of painting this today. It's very loose and fun and easy to follow along. So like I said, you can add some more pink where you want to. They don't all have to be the same color. In fact, sometimes I'm picking up a little bit of blue. You can mix the blue with the pink and create a soft lilac-y purple color. And you can even make some that are kind of turquoise and blue. It's just fun, and sometimes they're in a shadow and they're a different color depending on where the light's hitting them and how the light's hitting them, so they don't all have to just be pink and white. I'm going to add some more little butterflies up here. I'm going to start off with that light pinky color and then come in with blue and make a light purple shade. And then I'll build up the contrast from there, giving them the dark blue outline. And later on, I'm going to add some neon orange and titanium white and create a glowing peachy color. And I'm going to add that to these flowers and a little bit of highlights on the branches as well. And it's going to look really pretty together. And if you don't have neon colors, you can definitely use regular colors. I encourage you to find a good neon paint that works for you. I like Whole Bean. I'll mention that in the description below. It's a good one. It holds up really well. It's great to work with, and especially for the orange in this painting, it's when you mix that neon orange with the titanium white, it really glows. It's just the prettiest pastel color, and it looks quite nice with the cobalt blue and the pink. All these colors are very pretty together, very spring-like. It's a happy little painting, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. So I'm adding some more branches, the liner brush, and you can mix blue, pink, brown together. Now here I'm going to add a few little dabs of turquoise. These can be little flowers, or sorry, not flowers, little leaves. And then add some white. And then maybe some little drippy bits of moss hanging. You guys know I always like to add some hanging moss to my trees and branches. I like the way it looks. I'm going to come in with some more color now. I did a white base first in order for the turquoise to stand out a bit more. And notice the amount of paint I'm using on the tip of my brush. There's quite a bit to work with there, but you want it to be on the tip of your brush. So here I am with my liner brush again, dipping into that white paint. I'm getting quite a bit on the tip. Like I've got a little ball of paint on the tip of my brush to work with. You want to kind of hold your paintbrush straight up and down. And for video purposes, you wouldn't really be able to see what I'm doing if I had my hand out with a paintbrush straight up and down. So I'm kind of on an angle doing it, making it slightly more difficult to get those little round dot shapes on my butterfly wings. But that's what I recommend doing, holding your brush straight up and down, and you'll get a nice, like this, you'll get a much nicer little dot. Again, you're going to have to go back quite often for more paint. You don't resist the urge to push harder with your brush, because you're going to wreck that round little dot shape that you want. It just doesn't work. So add a little bit of white highlight inside of the wings. You can do pretty little lines, make your own kind of design up. Use a liner brush that you're comfortable with. If you are new to using a liner brush, go with a really small one. Start out small, and you can practice beforehand if you want. Just get a good feel for brushes if you're just trying them for the first time. I'm going to add these little white dots to all of the butterflies. I'll do the same kind of design, but they're not all going to be exactly the same. Every butterfly is different and unique. Now, if you guys have any questions at all regarding materials, you can check out more on my Patreon page. You can join today, and I've got some videos and early access videos for Patreons only. So it's something you guys might like, but I'll try to answer everything I can in the bottom of this video in the comments. So I just want to make sure that I've got enough blue around each of these wings, that I have enough room for the dots and that the dots stand out. So it's a bit harder to go back after adding the dots. So when you do your wings, make sure you do your blue area thick enough first so you don't have to try and correct like I am here. Okay, over to this butterfly now. I'm going to outline it nicely. You can use both blues if you like. I'm going to pull in some little lines for a little design on each of these wings. Just a few little lines. Nothing too overwhelming or intimidating. It's all just about some light shadow and some contrast. We'll continue doing the same thing over on this little butterfly up here. It's nice to have different sized butterflies as well. You don't want them to be all going in the same direction. You don't want them necessarily to be all the same size. And you can change up the color tone a little bit. So maybe on some of the butterflies, you can tint your white with a little bit of pink, like I did on those two butterflies up at the top left corner. And then a few of them you can add some turquoise to the white, like I did on a couple of them. So just experiment with different color tones and try to get out of that comfort zone that you might have of doing everything all the same. You don't want it to look like a pattern. You don't want it to be too uniform. Think fun and carefree. I'm gonna add one more right here. I'm having too much fun painting these butterflies. Okay, maybe two more. All right, let's begin to add our dots on this butterfly wing. So I like to do a larger size on the top corner of the wing and then make them smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, if you guys are having trouble with a liner brush and you don't feel comfortable doing these little dots, I know that there are paint pens out there, so that might be an option for you if you're at the really beginner level of painting. I totally think that you're capable of doing this painting, and I encourage you to try. But it is another option for some of you if you have very, very shaky hands and it's hard for you to do this steady detail work. I've actually never tried paint pens before, but I know from other artists they really, really enjoy using them and they feel like they have a lot more control. I personally just like the feel of a paintbrush. And we'll add dots to this butterfly as well. So throughout the rest of this video, I'm going to be adding a little bit more color, highlights, shadows, some more flowers, and colors to our branches. I just want to incorporate some of that really pretty peach that I talked about earlier. And I'll be adding a little bit more pink to the flowers. Once they're dry, I'm going to do a little glaze over them. And I'm also going to make my own green with cadmium yellow and turquoise and phthalo blue. So we'll add a little bit more of a springy, pretty springtime green to this painting, the little branches and maybe some little leaves, and on the bottom of some of the little cherry blossom buds. So here I'm picking up more of the pink, and I just want a thin layer of it on my brush, and I'm going to choose a few different flowers and petals and add a few more little buds up here, some more color. Okay, we've got lots of flower blossoms there. It's looking really pretty. Let's take titanium white, pink, and cadmium yellow. We'll mix those up. Got my liner brush, and I'm going to add a few little dabs of it here and there along some of the branches and the buds. I might even add some to part of the butterfly wings. We'll see. So liner brush is really nice for these branches. A long-haired liner brush works the best. That way you can pull and twist and turn and drag it to make all these long little wavy lines. And it's much easier than using a short-haired liner brush. So I'm going to make green now by pulling in some turquoise and then a little bit of phthalo blue, change up the tone of the green or the hue. So you can see how pretty that yellowy green looks against the turquoise and the phthalo and next to that bright pink. Now it's March while I'm painting this, and spring has sprung where I'm living here on Vancouver Island. Cherry blossoms are in full bloom and it looks so pretty. The daffodils are blooming, crocuses, rosebuds are starting to open up a little bit. I haven't seen any butterflies yet, but I'm sure it won't be long. So yeah, adding just a little bit of this to some of the wings can be really pretty too. So cadmium yellow, pink, and white, and you can make a peachy color, but it's not quite poppy enough for me, so I'm actually going to get my neon orange out like I talked about earlier, and you'll be able to see the difference. So take your time and add little hints of this peachy color wherever you want. You can outline a few of your flower petals. That looks pretty. And I'm also going to add a little bit of it inside some of the butterfly. So right here, just a tiny bit of it right up against the body. And then just a little bit of it right here. Just a few little light flicks, barely touching. I'm going to start to add some little dots and dabs to the inside of some of these flowers. I'll outline a few of the petals and then come in with some brown and pink, just little dots with my liner brush. You can do 3 or 4, and then I can change it up and take some of the turquoise and the yellow back to brown. The idea is just to make them all a little bit different. So this painting is just about all done. I want to thank you guys again so much for joining me today. I hope you learned lots and got really inspired. Like this video, leave a comment below, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Happy painting, you guys. Bye!